What is up, everybody? It's Obscure Reference back at it again with another hot trailer review, a hot D trailer review. In fact, House of the Dragon is back for its second season. We're here to watch that trailer, give you guys our initial thoughts and impressions. I know we're all going into this pretty skeptical because of the writer and actor strike, so we'll see
Indeed.
what's going on here. Do we want to go ahead and do introductions?
Just
We're
start.
good
No, I'm
without
kidding.
him.
Hi,
Let's
my
roll
name's
into
John.
this. Hi,
I'm John.
I'm also John.
The three Johns. All right, here we go.
Patrick's seriously gonna kill me one of these days.
I am.
Jairus' death.
The war be fought.
I don't see a lot of dragons.
Many will die.
Well, they're in the house.
Ah, okay.
Everyone's
Gotcha.
fake.
and the victor will eventually ascend the throne.
Okay.
Oh, D.
Oh shit. Okay.
So hateful to the gods.
Hot D, in fact.
There's a war between kin.
What happened to
Oh, a lot of D in that scene.
the one lady?
One lady.
And no war so bloody as a war between
Remembering these people's ridiculous names is gonna be so hard. For me.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple of them down, but not all of them for sure.
No, like I recognize him. Certainly,
Oh, that's a sick dragon.
but that's the
That
big
is some
boy,
hot
right?
D right there.
That's I'm gonna have to look up names before we get into this.
So you're gonna have
Okay.
to remind me.
Summer.
Summer 2024. That's lame.
It's like
Okay, what do we have to remind
You're gonna have to remind me where we ended. So I know at the end the king died, and
Yes.
he had said to the white-haired lady that he wanted her to become the throne,
you?
but
Become the throne.
but he was talking to the redheaded lady, and,
And
she
she-
mistook it
yep.
and thought that it was supposed to
Yes.
be her son, and he was the one sitting on the throne there. Correct?
Yes. Wait, no, was anyone on the
No.
throne?
No, we
No.
definitely saw a scene where there's a guy who sat on the throne.
I think
So-
that was Eye Patch guy on the throne.
Yeah, Eye Patch Kid is not in line for the throne, but he is definitely within stabbing distance of the throne and likes to stab people.
Does.
Um,
And
This was
So-
we were definitely building up to the war.
The other thing that
Over the
happened at the
throne.
end of the season,
big
with the miscommunication about who gets the throne, while they were doing the
Oh, the
coronation
dragon died.
ceremony, they
Not
come
just the
like
dragon.
bursting in, and they like break down the wall, and they're like, "You ain't being no coronation today," and then they left.
well, that was not the season finale. What happens in the season finale is the Eye Patch guy and his giant ass dragon.
Yeah, eats the
ate
one
the
dude.
smaller dragon
kid.
and his kid. Yeah.
Which kid was
is-
that? Whose kid
I
was
definitely
that?
need to
The white-haired
rewatch
ladies.
season one.
It was Rhaenyra's first or second kid. I forget.
Yeah, no,
Which
I'm
was- they were
definitely
like-
gonna have to rewatch.
They were way too close
They-
in age, so I really couldn't tell you honestly.
It was where they were like kind of like maybe they were gonna come to a truce, and then she ate him. The
Yeah,
dragon
that-
ate
that-
him, and then it was like, well, now we're going to war.
Now everything's fucked. Yeah.
It's fun to see the dragons like actually out in the open, like
No, it really
for the
is.
most part. Other than I guess there's the one dragon that she uses to eat the husband, that's out in the open. But other than that, we see Professor What's dragon in the cave, and we see Patrick. It took him a second, but he got there. We see his dragon in the cave, and we see the two dragons in the air, but it's like all foggy and dark out. It's cool to see him like actually out in person in the daylight.
Now, based off this trailer alone, I don't know how to feel. It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks competent. The soundtrack's there. Dragons look great and all that. But it's not like Game of Thrones season 7 and 8 didn't look good. You know, they still had
Right.
decent acting and all that. But I don't have enough to go off here to see if they've actually fudged themselves in the bum. You know, like
Yeah. Well,
is this actually going to be detracted by the writers actor strike, or did they find a way around it and they're still going to make something good here? Can't tell.
yeah. 'Cause here's my thing with it, right? Like I loved the first few seasons of Game of Thrones. I think it's some of the best television that's out there.
Oh, 100.
I don't I don't think the first season of House of the Dragon lives up to even the first season of Game of Thrones. Like, it's good.
It's good, but
It's good.
you got to come in with an understanding. Of the two, you watch Game of Thrones first.
I agree, and I don't think even just from filmmaking, cinematography, acting. I think the one standout is Paddy Considine, who played King Viserys. He knocked it out of the park, of course.
For sure, he was great.
And I love Olivia Cook. She's always great in whatever she's in, I think. But nothing really spoke to me like this is the next big thing. Like, I'm still gonna watch it, and I'm sure it's gonna get millions of views. But like, now that Paddy Considine's out of the picture, it's like, well, I'm curious to see how it'll play out. I just don't know. I'm hesitant for sure, but I've been hesitant since day one, so that's nothing new.
When I think that, the best parts of season 1 of Hot D were the back room, plotting kind of stuff that was happening all throughout the season of angling for the throne because they could see it coming. And now we're going to come to, basically the war has actually started. And so there's going to be, in theory, you can do a lot more action, right? So in theory, they may go away from what was the best parts of it because you add in, the writer actor strike. That means they didn't have nearly as much time to write the show. And this very much could go away from what I think was the best part of that show. Like, I don't need another Renaissance era war, just action scenes. There's 50,000 of those that exist, whereas the emotions that you feel with the plotting and all of that's happening was way more interesting to me. And so I'm kind of concerned on that part of it. One, that trailer doesn't really show us any of that. I don't know that we can really know that until we see it. But I'm concerned because you can already be kind of predisposed to that because you've kind of opened it to it the way the story's gone. And then on top of that, I get flashbacks to when they made Transformers 2 and he basically just shot it all as it was going with no script and just a very light outline. And it just basically is a ton of action and no coherent story. And I'm concerned that could happen here as well.
See, what I'm
obviously
really
not on that
for,
level because it's not Transformers, but you know what I mean.
Right.
What I really love about big high fantasy series is just the amount of plot and development and layered hidden messages and all that. So what I'm really hoping to get out of season 2 is a lot of development with the Maesters. I don't know if you guys pay attention to the theorizing at all, but the Maesters are up to some shit that goes all the way back from now to the present day in Game of Thrones. So I really want to see what kind of conspiracy they're up to, trying to control the king and all that. I'm hoping maybe we get an appearance from the Faceless Men. Maybe we get some kind of clues into what's going on with them and why they exist, what their goal is. Patrick, stop smiling. They're important.
Okay.
Why?
They were.
There's so much going on with the Faceless Men and the Maesters. I need to know what their plan is, what their goal is, who they're working for, and why. But I'm more or less watching House of the Dragon to fill me in on what's going in Game of Thrones in the future. So when finally the Winds of Winter come out, I can be one step ahead of the curve and kind of be looking for clues about what's actually going on in the story.
Now, do you think that this show will kind of dip into that? Because a lot of that stuff is touched on in the main show, but they never commit to that, and ultimately it feels less important because of that. Do you think this show...
I think they're doing that on purpose, that they're making it feel less important, because,
well,
they don't want to say, ooh, the Macers are doing something spooky, we should keep...
No, I'm not talking about in the House of the Dragon. I'm talking about Game of Thrones proper. We see the Faceless Men, and then Arya leaves them, and we never see them again. That's kind of what I'm afraid to.
Well, yes, you're right. What is playing?
What do you mean?
Oh, I don't know anything.
Oh, help! Help! I've made a trouble. Okay, fix that. Okay, fix it. Anyway, okay. Sorry. Where were we? Yeah. So the Faceless Men, they really do kind of get written out once Arya leaves them. However, in the Citadel, where the Maesters are, when Sam is studying to be a Maester there is a Faceless Man taking the form of Jaqen H'ghar, who's in the Citadel looking for a specific book, presumably the one that's locked away behind the bolted door. So
Mhm.
we know the Maesters are hiding a book for some reason. We know the Faceless Men want that book. We know the Maesters are like sitting in the King's ear this entire time. So we don't know much about them, but we know they're after something, and it's highly mysterious. And you have these, alleged shadow organizations working behind the scenes. I don't know that they're going to lean into it too much. Where I don't expect them to start introducing a bunch of suspicious-looking maesters. But even in scene one, the maesters giving the king medicine that was probably poison for him, so they could, control who's on the throne next. There's just a bunch of little things like that, little subtleties here and there that if you know what you're looking for, know what to pick up on, it really does fill in a lot of the almost gaps in Game of Thrones. Of course, they're not really gaps because the show's fine without them, but if you can pick up on them, you realize there's actually something a lot bigger going on here than just who sits on the throne. It's what organization controls who sits on the throne. I'm
Right.
so looking forward to all of that.
I guess my question is, since a lot of that stuff is mostly covered in the books, like most of the stuff you just said, I don't think is touched on the show super much. But
Most of it, no, you're
uh,
right. Like, there's still enough of it that I picked up on it, but there is a lot more going on in the books. You're right. So, what's the question?
so my question then is, do you think? Because to me, what the last show, Game of Thrones, established, that's the canon that HBO is working with. Do you think that this show, House of the Dragon, sticks to that, or do they lean more into the book stuff that you're bringing up?
Well, I don't think it counts as canon because you're right. Like, seasons 6, 7, and 8 happened, but George Martin did not. Sorry, my bad. George Art Martin did
Thank
not
you.
actually write the ending of season 6, any of 7 or 8. So they
Right.
really went in their own direction there. So the events that happened in the books didn't necessarily translate over. And House of the
But didn't he say
Dragon,
it's mostly right?
he said the ending of season 6 is mostly right. 7 and 8 are wild cards altogether.
Like,
Um,
well, I what I mean by canon is the canon that is like a canon. It's not like the book canon. It's not like the
well,
general
yeah.
canon for
No, no, no.
Game of
I
Thrones.
know.
It's
Let
what
me
HBO
finish.
is
I'm
working with.
speaking, aren't I? Can I finish? No
No,
disrespect because I
no,
respect you, but can I finish?
nope.
Anyway, I think since House of the Dragon is based off the Dance of Dragons, that we still have the potential to be pulling from the actual book canon source material and not just going off the canon of the HBO show. Because I don't think there's anyone who wants seasons 7 and 8 to be canon. I think we all want to pretend those didn't happen and we can just, have other canon a la the books to fall back on and use. I think a
Hmm.
lot of the points will go I don't want to say misunderstood. Like a lot of people will miss them; they'll just skim over them because they don't realize that there's a different canon. But I think if the show wants to have any chance at high success, they will avoid referencing any canon events from 6 or 7. Sorry, my bad, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I think they have the potential to introduce the book canon and stick to it. And I think if they want a good show, like you said, I mean, House of the Dragon's kind of in the shadow of Game of Thrones, not as big as. And if they want to stand on their own, I would stick as close to the source material as you could.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think you run the risk of confusing casual audiences, but that's just a risk you have to take, I think.
I mean, you add 2 and 2, you're going to confuse half the general public. That's just a fact. Like,
Hmm.
if you want an intelligent show, you can't pander to the masses. And you're dealing with very intelligent source material here.
Yeah, like Rick and Morty.
Yeah, big brain energy. Okay, I had my rant.
Cool.
You guys go. Do your thing.
I like dragons. That's
Good.
my rant.
Good.
Good. Good talk.
They're like flying bird lizards.
Yeah.
The one
I mean,
did look like he had like almost like a pelican, like where he has this
Yep.
Mhm.
huge.
No, I love
like,
that like
gullet
thing.
almost.
Yeah, it's a gullet.
that's like the ancient oldest dragon, king dragon thing.
That's
I remember
one
him.
thing I really
Is that
love.
the one
like,
that was that Professor What found in the dark? That one hasn't come out yet, right?
No, I
That's
don't
like the
think.
super old one.
Like as
Or
much
maybe-
as I love the dragons in Game of Thrones, it is so nice to see these absolutely massive monsters that brought the Targaryens to their power in the first place.
That scene where they're in the where were they at? Where she flies over and they're in the throne room, and then the dragon just like shows up over top and just scares the shit out of him is a fucking incredible scene.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm. No, not that one. I don't know. I'm looking through the cast and I'm seeing this one person. She plays someone that was working with this person called the White Worm, and it's like I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely
I'm
going to
gonna
need to
have to-
rewatch season 1 before season 2. Like I said, it's a very intelligent show, and there's a lot of moving parts to keep track of.
That's what made binging through Game of Thrones so much fun to do. You know.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
the
like
best way to watch
every
that.
rewatch, like the first time through, I missed so much. Second time through, I knew what was going on. Third time through, I'm really starting to connect all the dots of the things that are happening.
Well,
It's just-
yeah, not even that. It was me putting names to characters. You know, I just
Yeah.
kind of went with it. Like, I don't know who,
Right.
the Hound is necessarily, but now it's like, oh, yeah, no, that's what's his face. And then, I don't have to wait a year and a half for the next season. Like, I can just jump into the next season so I can follow the storyline all the way through.
when Jorah the Andal shows up in season 1 with Daenerys, and King Robb is like, "Oh, my spies over there didn't connect the dots on that, or that his
Really?
dad was the Lord Commander."
Okay, Will.
Didn't get that he was a spy, so when he like subverts the expectation to assassinate Daenerys, I was very confused as to why later he was outed. Didn't get any of that.
Whack. I
Yeah.
got that, but I also read the book a little
That
bit.
probably helped
prior
you a
to
little
that.
bit. No, I just
little
my
bit.
friends made me jump in season 1, and as much as I loved it, there were so many names I did not know what was going on.
Gotcha, yeah.
The one thing I will fault this universe with, and this is directly the fault of George R. Martin, is anytime characters are like, and it happens so often. Go back, rewatch season 1, and rewatch Game of Thrones. Notably, like episode 1, Game of Thrones. Jon Snow's headed north. Ned Stark is like, "Hey, next time we meet, I'll tell you about your mom and your past," and then they never meet again because he's dead. And characters will constantly be like, "Next time we talk, I'll tell you all these secrets," and then one of those characters dies in like the next 5 minutes every time. Like, if anyone is ever told, "We'll talk next time we meet," they're dead. That is a death
It's
sentence.
not happening, yeah.
So that's the one fault I have is like they'll constantly be, "Oh, I need to talk to you about this. Remind me," and then he turns around and steps into a knife and is then lit on fire.
Yeah. They run to Annoying Orange and he's like, knife.
I hate you for that. I really do. Oh, you
Not
guys
doing
got any hot D thoughts?
No, I pretty much laid it all out there. The first season was good, not great. I think I'll go into that with the same expectations, maybe even a little lower, just because this was filmed mostly during the strikes. So I'm going to go in with a little bit lower expectations and just be surprised if it's good.
See,
I really think that this is the kind of thing that I just have to watch it.
Yeah.
Like your trailer's
It
not
really
going to
is.
sell me other than
Right.
like, does it look like you've created more hot D? All right, cool, you did. Now let's see it exist, and then I'll let you know at that point.
The trailer didn't really do anything besides inform me there's a new season, and it looks like we've got a lot of dragons in it. You know, it looks well shot. The costumes and everything looks great. Now we'll see if there's actually a good show. Gonna disagree with you a little, Patrick. I think first season was great, not perfect, not good, not great. But you know, season 2, you're right. I'm absolutely going in with lesser expectations because of the strike, and we'll see what actually comes out of this. But guys, that's going to do it on our thoughts for the Hot D Season 2 trailer. Be sure to check that because I'm definitely going to be watching this. I suspect Patrick will too, see if we can't get Austin involved. So we should have, pretty weekly reviews of that coming out summer 24. So stay tuned. Don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Become a subscribing dibbler today and turn on notifications to stay posted. If you guys are liking the content, we'd really appreciate you smashing that like button down below. Maybe even leaving a comment. Tell us your thoughts on the trailer, whether or not you're going to be tuning in, and your thoughts on the series at large. But guys, until then, we'll see you next time.